So I want to know, guys, what age did you first get coal in your stocking, and have you been plotting this movie ever since?
I was about 12 when it happened.
We'll just put it out there. Like Christmas at the Nelms house was spectacular. There's no
don't read into it, mom and dad. Don't
deep-seated trauma. No, it was pretty. It was a great Christmases. I think for us, we just wanted to do something that took a fantastical character and grounded him.
Well, where did you find this kid for this movie? Because one, he is kind of a hateful little kid, but you can't hate him in the movie. There's still something there that you're like, I'm kind of with this kid some of the time.
Well, I think as far as the character of Billy, absolutely. For us, like we didn't want him to be just a one-dimensional, like, oh, spoiled kid. There's a reason, right? There's a catalyst as to why he is how he is, right?
I mean, hopefully you're feeling that sympathy. He's neglected. He's sort of left with, all the toys and means in the world, and he doesn't have any guidance really. So I think you can empathize with him and say, man, if this kid just had one thing going for him, in the way of guidance, that he would probably be turning out a lot better.
Because he's got a lot of potential, right? He's precocious, build elaborate, water.
If we can set those skills in the right direction, Billy.
And then we landed on Chance. I mean, look, we searched high and low, and we had to have an actor that could come in and just crush the scenes, right? So Chance sends in this video, and
he's amazing.
Ian and I are just like, okay, this kid's amazing. Is he too amazing?
We were like, how is this kid going to be to work with? Is he really like this tough? Is he going to be this rough to work with? Because he was too good at the role. And then we get on a Skype, we start talking to him, and he couldn't be a sweeter kid.
So professional.
Or more intelligent. And we were just like, oh my God. And I remember when
what cinched it for us is like, we're sitting there and he's like, hey, do you guys have any adjustments? And we're like, oh yeah, like we're thinking like, we'll give him a couple adjustments so we can send those back tomorrow or the next day after he works with his coach. And he's like, okay, what is it? I just want to do it right now.
I want to do it right now. Can we do it right now? Can we do it live? I'm like, okay.
Yeah, all right, like here we go. We gave him a couple of tweaks and he honestly like just pirouetted through them. We're like, this is wow. Chance, like, come on in.
And when you're working on independent film or any film, really, I think you are always weary of your time. And that was the one thing that we didn't really have to worry about with Chance, is that I think with a lot of kid actors, you're like, oh man, like, are we gonna be able to get there in this scene or whatever? And I mean, we had like an hour to nail that scene where he's painting and talking to Walton on the phone. It was like, I want his head, and man, he was just dynamite. And I think we got to do it 4 or 5 times instead of like, we're barely gonna get through this in an hour. We're barely gonna get one take. It was like, no, wait. He's so on fire and on it, and you give him a little direction, and boom, he's off in that direction. And it's all with subtlety, Yeah, he's a really intelligent, smart, sweet kid, and I have no doubt that kid's gonna be doing a lot in the future.
Well, this movie is so weird and so wild that that this movie is gonna last. This is gonna be around like Bad Santa or Lethal Weapon. So when you guys get on set and you're looking through the viewfinder, what moment in the movie that you were shooting that you just went, yep, this is a classic. This is a holiday classic?
Look, I don't know about that, but I think there's moments when you're on set.
We're always out to make that movie. We're always out to make that movie. We show up to make something as great as it can be.
Yeah, and Ian and I pour our entire essence, everything we have into these movies. But I think, like, I remember there was a moment where we're sitting on set and it's coming over the walkies, and it's like, can Mr. and Mrs. Claus, the elves, and the military come to set, please? And we just look at each other like, I can't believe we get to make this movie.
And I remember, I remember one of the moments we were jonesing to see, be able to do is the one where it was the standoff between Chris and Skinny Man, and just the moment where they're shouting lines back at each other was pretty surreal. And that it was just a scene, it'd taken 14 years. It was just a scene we were jonesing to see and didn't quite know if we were ever going to get to do it,
Now, I got to wrap up, but my last question is, I've had so many people, this video, the trailer went viral, and I've had so many people that don't usually hit me up about movies, ask me about this movie. And that tells you something there, that a lot of people want to see this right now. But as far as it being a Christmas classic, and you mentioned being 12 years old, what age can this movie be brought into the family living room so that the kids can enjoy it too? I mean, for me, I would say 7 or 8, but that's maybe being generous.
I'm going to leave that up to you.
Yeah, that's a parental decision.
I will say, as a parent, some may say it was a poor decision, but I showed my 5 and 7-year-old the film, And then we had a nice discussion about,
What's real,
what's real, what's not. And of course we're editing it, they're around while we're editing it. So they're hearing and seeing a lot of it. So it was a needed discussion, but yeah, I think it's totally up to each family. I'm sure there's some kind of, pediatrician that would give us like a 12 or 13-year-old rating. Yeah. I don't know.
At your discretion. You pick that ride.
Okay, well, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and Merry Christmas, and thanks so much for the gift of this film, because everybody's going to be watching it. I know people without internet have asked me about this movie.
That's amazing.
So I will see you guys later.
Thank you very much.
Bye.